week 3 in round 1 class, we'll review some of the behaviors we worked on in week 2. We'll add a little bit of distance and distraction, and then we'll add our new behaviors as well. So starting with the name game, remember you want to say your dog's name only one time in a positive tone of voice. When they look at you, mark it, yes, or click if you're using a clicker, and reward. So it'll look like this. Dixie! Yes, good girl. Dixie! Yes, good girl. Okay. So practice that name game a lot because it is the beginning of your recall, getting your dog to come when called. So I want you to practice that a lot. We also worked on our hand touch. Yes, good girl. So you're going to continue to work on that. Choosing a cue, what you want to say to name that behavior. It can be something like say hi or touch or pound it or whatever you want it to be. You pick your cue, you'll say it. Dixie, say hi. Then present the hand. Yes, and feed. Dixie, say hi. Yes, and feed. This behavior is going to become a cue to go say hi, where you'll be able to tell them to go say hi to a person and then have a little bit of recall back to you, and we'll work on that a little bit more next week. But you'll start, as you're approaching people, if they say, can I pet your dog? Just say, put out your hand when I point to you, and you'll say, Dixie, say hi, point to the person, they put out their hand, yes, the second the nose touches, and then call your dog back to you, Dixie, and then feed them, so that after they've touched the hand, they come back to you. Sit. We also worked on our sit. Remember, you're only saying the word one time. If your dog breaks that sit, you're going to just take them back to where they were and wait for them to sit, using a hand signal if you need to, but waiting a fair amount of time before you do anything. So, excuse me, Flash, I didn't know you were part of class. Dixie, here, sit. So you'll mark that sit yes if your dog is struggling still. If they're not, the yes fades away. You'll start walking to the end of your leash, returning. Remember feeding the dog. Good girl. Wait. Walking around them. Good girl. Feeding the dog. When you walk around them, at the beginning, you might need to feed them the whole time you're walking around. That kind of helps them stay in place. Good girl. Okay. But you're going to work on that and gradually reduce your treat. Sit. Oh, you all right? Next, thanks. Wait. Who brought that thing? So naughty. And then you're going to continue to add distraction. You're going to start with some posture change. You might bend down a little bit, like you're going to tie your shoe. You might squat. You might even, get yourself a chair. And have your dog practicing stay seated while you're seated. And you're going to do that gradually. You're not just going to sit your rear end in the chair and expect the dog to stay seated. You're going to lower your posture, dog stay seated, come back and reward. And I generally start with the dog close to me and the chair pretty close to me. Good girl. Nice work. Good girl. Good job. Okay. Dixie. Hey. Excuse me. Thank you. And then, okay, sit. And then when I work on tying my shoe, I want to be able to bend over and tie my shoe and not have my dog break my nose. So I'm going to work on that a little bit at a time. Squatting down, maybe bending all the way over. Don't guess. If she starts to go down because she thinks I'm going to give her a down cue with the hand, I just step back into her space. Good job, good job. Okay, so continue to work on that sit, adding the distractions. We added this week our down and stand behaviors. Hopefully you all worked on that target hand where you're getting that dog to follow your hand and then reward them so that you can just use a target hand. If you haven't, you need to practice that a lot. But you can start with a lure if you need to. Taking a treat right to your dog's nose. Slowly taking it to the floor. Yes, when their elbows hit, and reward. And then putting a few treats between their paws to keep them there for a few seconds. And then, okay, releasing them when they're about done. Hello. If they break, I'll see you. Okay. to. I would step back and I would wait. And then I would need to move before I resumed rewarding her. If I didn't think she could stay down there, I would go ahead and release her. But if I tell my dog down and they get up, I'm not going to tell them again. I can use a hand signal and take them back down with my hand if I need to, but I'm not rewarding that. I would release them, or if I felt like I could move, I could resume feeding them. Same with the sit. As they get better, if they're down, you're going to work on distance, walking away, coming back and rewarding, walking away now, looking it down, coming back to reward. Some dogs get worried when you get behind them, either in a sit or a down. If that's the case when you start working on walking around, put a few treats between their paws, walk all the way around them, come back, reward again, until they get to the point that you can walk around them and they can stay in that position and you're not needing to feed them all the time. Okay. Pause that. We're going to take a quick break and then we'll talk about stand.